Mahathir Mohamad, one of the most remarkable and long-lasting figures in modern Asian politics, was born on July 10, 1925, in Alor Setar, the capital of the Kedah state in British Malaya. He grew up in a modest household that instilled in him both discipline and a sense of responsibility. His father, Muhammad Iskandar, was a schoolteacher of Indian Muslim descent who placed an extraordinary emphasis on education and character, while his mother, Wan Tempawan Wan Hanafi, came from a Malay family. Mahathir was the youngest of 9 children, and his early childhood was shaped by the simplicity and hardships of life in a colonized land. The family did not enjoy wealth or privilege, and this environment influenced his later views on self-reliance, national dignity, and the need for Malays to rise economically and intellectually in order to compete with other ethnic groups in the country. As a boy, Mahathir showed signs of determination, curiosity, and independence, traits that would define his political personality decades later. The struggles of living in British-ruled Malaya, alongside his father's insistence on academic discipline, nurtured in him a strong belief in education as the means to liberation and progress. Unlike many children of his era, he was determined to excel in studies and to rise beyond the limitations imposed by colonial structures. Mahathir's formal education began in Alor Setar, where he attended a local Malay school before moving on to secondary education at the government English school, later known as College Sultan Abdul Hamid. His years as a student coincided with turbulent times, especially the Japanese occupation of Malaya during World War II, which had a profound impact on his worldview. The war disrupted education for many young Malays, but Mahathir adapted by working small jobs, including selling bananas and writing for local newspapers, to support his family and fund his studies. This early exposure to hardship instilled in him a sense of resilience and pragmatism that would become hallmarks of his leadership style. After the war ended, he resumed his studies and eventually secured a place at King Edward VII College of Medicine in Singapore, where he trained to become a doctor. During his student years, Mahathir became increasingly interested in politics, actively writing articles under the pen name Cadet, where he critiqued colonial rule, the lack of progress among Malays, and the inequality that plagued society. These writings demonstrated his intellectual curiosity and his growing political consciousness. He believed that the Malays had been left behind economically and intellectually, and that this imbalance would prove dangerous for the future stability of the country. His medical career began after he graduated in 1953, working as a government doctor in various towns, including his hometown. Being a physician brought him into direct contact with ordinary people, deepening his understanding of poverty, illiteracy, and the struggles of rural Malays. This experience reinforced his conviction that the Malays needed strong leadership and reforms to achieve dignity and equality. Mahathir's entry into politics came in the early years of Malaya's independence. He joined the United Malays National Organization UMNO, the dominant party in the ruling coalition, and quickly gained recognition as a rising figure within its ranks. By 1964 he was elected as a member of parliament, but his early political career was not without turbulence. After openly criticizing the leadership of Tunku Abdul Rahman, the country's first prime minister, for policies he considered too accommodating to non-Malays, Mahathir was expelled from UMNO in 1969. This was a low point in his career, but he used the period of political exile to reflect and write. In 1970, he published The Malay Dilemma, a book that argued Malays needed affirmative action policies to correct economic disparities with the Chinese and Indian communities. Though the book was controversial and banned for some time, it shaped his image as a bold and uncompromising thinker who was not afraid to confront sensitive issues. His ideas would later form the basis of the new economic policy, aimed at improving the socio-economic position of Malays. By 1972, Mahathir was reinstated into UMNO, and he steadily climbed the political ladder, serving as Minister of Education and later as Deputy Prime Minister. In 1981, he became the fourth Prime Minister of Malaysia, ushering in a new era for the nation. His first tenure lasted an extraordinary 22 years, making him Malaysia's longest-serving leader. During this period, Mahathir oversaw the rapid modernization of Malaysia, transforming it from an agrarian economy into an industrializing nation. His policies encouraged foreign investment, promoted heavy industries, and emphasized infrastructure projects such as the iconic Petronas Twin Towers and the North-South Expressway. He also implemented affirmative action policies favoring Malays in business and education, cementing his reputation as a leader determined to uplift the majority population. However, his leadership was not without criticism. Detractors accused him of authoritarianism, citing his suppression of political dissent, his sidelining of judicial independence, and the jailing of opposition figures such as Anwar Ibrahim. Still, his achievements in economic growth and modernization gave him a powerful base of support. When Mahathir stepped down in 2003, many believed his political career had ended. Yet, in a surprising twist, he returned to politics over a decade later, dissatisfied with the leadership of his successors, particularly Najib Razak, whose administration was engulfed in the 1MDB financial scandal. In 2018, at the age of 92, Mahathir led the opposition coalition Pakatan Harapan to a stunning electoral victory, unseating Najib and returning to power as the world's oldest-serving prime minister. His comeback was hailed as historic, demonstrating his enduring influence and political acumen. During his second tenure, Mahathir promised reforms, greater accountability, and a renewed fight against corruption. However, age and political divisions limited his effectiveness, and by 2020, he was forced to resign amid political maneuvering that fractured his coalition. Despite this, his return had already secured his place in history as a figure whose career spanned generations and who shaped Malaysia across two different eras. Mahathir Mohamad's legacy is complex. He is celebrated for driving modernization, raising living standards, and making Malaysia a respected voice in the developing world, but he is also criticized for centralizing power and undermining democratic institutions. His life reflects resilience, intellectual rigor, and a deep, sometimes controversial commitment to the advancement of his people. Even in his later years, he remained a formidable presence in Malaysian politics, admired and criticized in equal measure, but undeniably one of the most significant statesmen in Asia of the 20th and 21st centuries.